Hi, Michelle here from StrawBearie Designs, and today is a different type of video because I'm going to share with you how I healed myself from plantar fasciitis and tarsal tunnel. So if you have feet problems, or if you know someone who has problems with their feet, stay tuned and watch this video. So first I want to give you just a little bit of background. In college, I tried a running class and my heels started hurting, and I was basically told, oh, that's normal, just, and it wasn't normal, it hurt. And then about 10-15 years later, I went to a podiatrist who told me that normal feet walk like this, but my feet walk like this. And so he made me orthotics that would hold my feet and prop my feet up into that position. By the way, most people who have plantar fasciitis, their feet are shaped like this. They walk like this. Anyway, when I went to a new podiatrist, like 15 years after that, he was saying, we don't want to just prop your feet up. We want to build up your muscles, and we want to actually try to heal it instead of just making it work. And I have tried everything. I've tried KT tape. I've tried rolling my foot on a bottle of water that's frozen. So that would be a bottle of ice. I've tried the different little balls that you can massage on, different inserts for your shoes. You name it, I have tried it. But most of those things just kind of mask the pain or make it feel better for a little while. They don't fix the problem. And I really needed to fix the problem because the plantar fasciitis got so bad that I got tarsal tunnel, and tarsal tunnel is nerve damage. And every time I would take a step, it was like hot shooting liquid going up into my leg and in my foot. And it was awful. I couldn't walk from my classroom to the office, which wasn't even that far. I was depressed, I was crying, and I really thought that this was my new normal, that I would never walk again. But I didn't give up, and I figured out a way. So my doctor recommended that I go to physical therapy. My insurance only paid for about 3 or 4 sessions when my doctor wanted me to have 12 to 15 sessions. My doctor wanted to do surgery on my feet, and I didn't really want to, but then my insurance wouldn't pay for it anyway, so I didn't have a choice in that. So I came up with 5 things that I did that I changed in my life, 5 lifestyle changes that helped heal my feet. Now, I'm not a doctor, so please do this at your own risk, or ask your doctor, get medical professional help. I'm just sharing with you the things that I did for me. The first change I want to talk to you about is shoes, and you need supportive shoes. So I went to the doctor, and the doctor made me some inserts for my shoes, and I keep them in my tennis shoes. And they're big and they're heavy, and honestly, they're not that comfortable. So that also depressed me because these were supposed to fix my feet, and they weren't that comfortable, and they only fit in my tennis shoes. They weren't smallish enough to fit into some of my cute shoes. So then I started looking for shoes, and these are really, really old, but these are my first pair of Birkenstocks, and these help my feet so much because they are cork, they mold to your feet, not sponsored, wish I was, but they have this heel cup. They really, really help my feet. So then I bought more pairs of Birkenstocks whenever I saw them because they're so supportive. I needed a pair of shoes that could get wet when I was like at camp and different things. And so what I found were Chacos are the most supportive. You can actually even see how high the arch support is, and super, super supportive. I tried a couple different brands, and these are definitely by far the best. So very, very supportive shoes are very key. Now, after you're out of pain, because I'm out of pain now, so I could wear other shoes, but I usually don't. But if I do, like just for a day or a special occasion, I will make sure that I wear some kind of orthotic in them. And these are kind of dirty. They just came out of my shoes. These are called Rocking Feet, and they have a little gel in them. They're really, really thin. And I have another video about that I use the Rocking Feet, so I will leave a link to that below. But they're very cushy and squishy, so always wear some kind of orthotic or some kind of pad in your shoes, even when your feet feel better. I used to never wear shoes. I was a barefoot girl. until all of this happened, and I realized that I have to wear shoes all the time now. So my old trusty Birkenstocks that are like completely worn out, they're my bedroom slippers now. So if I have to get up in the middle of the night, I put these on, and I wear shoes in the house now because I have to. But I can walk, and so that's a plus. That's a good thing. All right, the second change that I made was no more standing. Now that my feet are better, I can walk. I couldn't walk then, but I can walk now. But what really, really hurt my feet the most was standing, just standing. And I had to stop standing. I'm a teacher. It's very hard for me not to stand. So what I did is I put a stool outside my classroom door, and it's still there a couple years later. And I have stools like in different parts of my classroom so that I can sit down on those stools when I'm teaching, but I'm still kind of the same height that I would be if I was standing. And that really helps. I also asked my students to help me. I even put it on the board, make Miss Jett sit down, and I would tell the kids, if you need help, that's fine, raise your hand, I will come over and help you, but then you're going to get up and you're going to give me your chair, and I'm going to sit in your seat while I explain it to you. And you know what? The kids, they were fine with that, and they did that, and they helped me out, and that was really kind of a big deal. The other thing, it's embarrassing. You're waiting in line, and you can't stand. So I remember one day I was at the pharmacy waiting for a prescription, and the line was just going on, and my feet were hurting more and more. And I was starting to cry inside, maybe outside, I don't know, and get depressed. And I went, you know what? I'm going to sit down. That's what I have to do. So I sat right there on the floor in line at the pharmacy. And I think that was the first time. And since then, I've sat no matter where I am. You have to not be worried about getting your clothes dirty if you're going to sit in public places on the floor. Or maybe carry a little stool or a chair around with you. But I had to learn to sit because it's my health and it's my feet. And if I don't do this, if I don't take care of myself, I'm never going to get better. So that means when everybody else is standing up at church, I'm sitting. And it's a little embarrassing, but I have to teach myself. I have to sit. I cannot stand. I can walk now, but I can't stand. Third thing is massage and self-massage. So on your foot, your plantar fascia goes down the bottom of your foot, and it comes up the back of your leg into your calf. And you want to make sure that you're massaging all of that. So you want to massage the bottom of your foot, you want to massage the top of your foot, you want to massage this little part here on your heel, that's kind of where the nerve goes back and forth, and you want to massage your calf and your shin. And when I say massage, what I'm doing right now over my jeans with my fingers is not enough. I would take like my phone and I would dig it in there and just push, and just self-massage all the time, just to really break up and loosen up all of the stuff, and then sometimes even up into the thigh, because it's all connected. You would not believe it, but I still get very, very tight sore muscles up in my shins and my calves, and that is directly related to my plantar fasciitis. Okay, so it's all connected, so you want to do a lot of massage. The next thing is stretching. Lots and lots of stretching. And stretching first thing in the morning before you get out of bed, before your feet touch the floor. They shouldn't touch the floor. You should wear your shoes even when you get out of bed. It's difficult for this barefoot girl, but that's what you need to do. So the first stretch is one that you'll probably read about on any website, and doctors will tell you. It's called a towel stretch. So you stretch your leg out, and I usually just put the other foot kind of under the knee just to keep my legs straight. And you take a towel, and you put the towel kind of around the ball of your foot, and you pull. Now, as you do this, one little thing is if I just turn my foot slightly this way, it does so much better. And so you might want to kind of just turn your foot and see where it's affecting it the most. And you want to hold this. Hold it for a long time. I usually hold for 30 seconds for each foot. Now, when I first started doing this, I would be like, I'd forget a towel, and I'd be like, hubby, go get me a towel. I have to do my stretches, because I couldn't get out of bed before doing it. And then I realized one day I could just use my sheets or my covers or my quilt. So I'm asleep, I wake up, and I just grab my quilt and I stick it behind my foot, and then I can pull. Okay? So that's stretch number one. The next stretch is just squeeze your toes, spread your toes. Squeeze your toes, spread your toes. And I will do this for about 30 seconds. So you're wanting to keep your feet straight as you do this. And you squeeze your toes and you stretch your toes. Squeeze your toes, stretch your toes. For all of my exercises or my stretches that I do in the morning, I have to allot for myself like 6 or 7 minutes extra to set the alarm so that I can do all these stretches before I get out of bed. And you just really, if you have to go to the bathroom first thing in the morning, you gotta start getting used to doing these first. This third stretch that I'm going to show you, I think is probably the most important. It's called an active stretch. So you're not just pulling, but you're moving at the same time. It's awkward. It's awkward to show. It's awkward to do. You need to be sitting on your bed before you get up in the morning with your feet hanging off. Like this. Sorry about having my butt in the view, but you're going to have to see it. You're going to take one foot and you're going to cross it underneath and put your ankle of that top foot in the knee fold right there, the knee pit, and then you're going to sit down. Okay? When you sit down, you're squeezing this foot and this thigh together, and then you're going to take this foot and you're going to roll it. And I usually roll 15 times one way and then 15 times the other way. Now when you're done with this, you can sit back up and you want to move your leg down halfway down your calf. So your ankle now is over the middle of your calf, and you're going to sit back and you're going to repeat. You're going to roll 15 times this way and 15 times the other way. Then you're going to get up and you're going to cross so that you have ankle over ankle, and sit back down and roll that foot 15 times one way and 15 times the other way. Now, then you're going to switch legs and do the same thing. Okay? Bonus stretch time. So you can do this when you're out and about on a staircase or with a stool like I'm going to show you. I love doing this on escalators when you're going up because you're just standing there enjoying the ride. So what better time to stretch? So what you're going to do is you're going to stand on your stool or your step, and you're going to put your heel down lower than the step. And that's going to give you a nice stretch in the back of your calf. Now, if you want the stretch to be in the front of your shin, bend your knee as you do it, and you'll get a stretch in the front of your shin. So you can do it straight for your back of your calf and bent for the front of your shin. All right, so number 5 is exercise. Now you're gonna see this on all kinds of doctors and websites and stuff. They're going to tell you, if you want to help your plantar fasciitis, you need to exercise. And you're going to be thinking, but if I walk across the room, it's excruciating pain. How am I supposed to start a jogging program or something? It's hard. It's hard. I have a bike. I started riding my bike. And I have to tell you that in the midst of the depression, in the midst of I'm never going to walk again feelings that I had, just being able to propel myself around the block on my bike was so liberating. Just knowing, okay, I can do things still. I can still move. I'm not completely crippled. And building up those muscles. Now I can walk. Like I said, I still have trouble standing, but now I can walk. And so I now walk around the neighborhood. But if you can do something like swim or ride your bike, something that actually doesn't use the bottom of your foot, and still get some exercise in, because remember, it's all connected. So if you're exercising these muscles, it's gonna help down here as well. I really hope that these tips and tricks that I shared about how I healed my feet can help somebody out there. If you're in pain or something, know that you're not suffering alone, and that there are things that you can do about it, and it can get better. But remember, I'm not a doctor. This is just what I did for me. So please check with your doctor and get the right medical advice from a medical professional. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like. I normally do like crafting type of videos, so if you like that type of video, then please hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. See my bear? Isn't he cute? My soldier son made him for me at Build-A-Bear and gave him to me for my birthday. I just think he's adorable. Look at his little combat boots. Probably not very good on the feet though. How are they?